Rae Leon, Style and Suspicion, Chapter 6. Checkmate, 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 checkmate.
Chapter 6, Checkmate. The air in Rae's studio was thick with a tension that could be cut with a knife. Jackie and Damar sat huddled together on the plush velvet couch, their faces etched with worry, hands clasped tightly. Rae stood opposite Zane, her posture relaxed but alert, her expression a mask of controlled calm. Inside, however, her mind raced, every sense heightened. Aaliyah hovered near the door, a silent sentinel, her eyes darting between Zane and Rae, ready to intervene at a moment's notice. "It all makes sense now, Zane," Rae began, her voice steady and low, carrying a quiet authority. "The late-night calls, always when Jackie had spoken with me. The strange vibes you've been giving Jackie since Damar came crashing back into her life and heart. The perfectly timed death of your fiancé right after she found out you had a fetish for Jackie. Yes, she told her best friend about it before she came to speak to you, and all of a sudden she was dead. Not to mention the barber, who was fine as hell by the way, who happened to grab the poison drink right out of Damar's hand and unfortunately died because he drank the champagne and Damar did not. The attempt on Damar's life by your old college bestie, who happens to work at his family bakery where I saw a picture of you and him on the wall. The way you always seem to be nearby, just out of sight. It wasn't a coincidence. It was you orchestrating every move." Zane shifted uncomfortably, a flicker of panic momentarily breaking through his carefully constructed facade. He wrung his hands, his gaze darting around the room, avoiding Rae's piercing stare. "Rae, I don't know what you're talking about. You're imagining things." Rae advanced a step, closing the distance between them. Her eyes, trained to observe the smallest details, picked up on the subtle tremor in his hands, the beads of sweat forming on his forehead. "Let's not play games, Zane. I have proof." She laid out the evidence, piece by piece, her voice a relentless drumbeat. "The microscopic fibers found in my car after my brakes mysteriously went out? They match your car's unique upholstery. The untraceable burner phone records that pinged off cell towers near each crime scene? They coincide perfectly with the stalking incidents from your past employer issues. And the Kappa pin that your cocky ass dropped near your fiancé's body." With each revelation, Zane's carefully constructed wall of denial crumbled further. His breathing became shallow and rapid, his face flushed. He opened his mouth to protest, but no words came out. "And then there's the biggest piece," Rae continued, her gaze locking onto Zane's, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "Your twisted obsession with Jackie. You genuinely believed that by eliminating me and Damar, you'd clear the path for you and Jackie. You thought I'd somehow reward you for your horrific actions. You were tragically wrong." A vein throbbed in Zane's forehead, his breath coming in ragged gasps. His eyes, once filled with admiration, now burned with a desperate, feverish light. I love Jackie," he choked out, his voice a raw whisper, laced with a chilling mix of desperation and delusion. "I did it all for you. I wanted us to be together." The confession hung in the air, heavy and chilling, a testament to his warped perception of reality. Suddenly, Zane's hand darted inside his jacket. In a flash, he pulled out a sleek black pistol. The metallic click of the safety being released echoed through the silent studio. Jackie gasped. Damar pulled her closer, shielding her with his body. Aaliyah tensed, ready to spring into action, but Rae held up a hand, signaling her to stay back. This was her fight. "Don't move." Zane's voice was strained, his eyes wild and unfocused. The gun wavered slightly in his trembling hand. "Just stay where you are, or I swear." Rae's special ops and bodyguard training kicked in. Her heart pounded in her chest, adrenaline surging through her veins, but her mind remained sharp, calculating. She noted the other's position, the angles of the room, and the potential cover. She knew she had to remain calm, assess the situation, and wait for the right moment. Every second counted. "Zane, put the gun down," Rae said, her voice even and controlled, projecting an air of calm that belied the tension within her. "This doesn't have to end like this. There's still time to fix this." "It's too late," Zane hissed, his finger tightening on the trigger. His eyes were filled with a mixture of fear and desperation. "It's all ruined. Everything I did. It was all for nothing." Rae engaged him in conversation, her voice low and soothing, trying to keep him focused, buying precious time. She subtly shifted her weight, distributing it evenly, preparing to move. She focused on his hand holding the gun, noticing a slight tremor, a flicker of doubt in his eyes. It was a small opening, a fleeting moment of hesitation, but it was enough. The air crackled with tension, thick and suffocating. Zane's eyes, previously narrowed with predatory focus, now widened with a flicker of surprise as Rae moved. It wasn't the hesitant stylist he expected. This was a woman transformed, her movements fluid and purposeful, a stark contrast to the nervous energy she usually exuded. In a swift, almost balletic motion, Rae lunged forward, her movements a blur of controlled power. Years of close-quarters combat training, a secret she'd kept hidden, now surfaced with explosive force. She executed a disarming technique, a precise lightning-fast maneuver that targeted Zane's grip on the weapon. Her hand, a blur of motion, snaked in, deflecting his arm just enough to break his hold. The gun, a sleek, deadly instrument, flew from his grasp, clattering across the polished concrete floor of the studio, skidding to a stop near a discarded lighting rig. Before Zane could even register what had happened, before his mind could catch up with the sudden shift in the dynamic, Rae had him pinned against the cool, unforgiving surface of the studio wall. Her forearm pressed against his throat, cutting off his air, her training taking over, instinct guiding her movements. His eyes, now wide with panic, darted around the room, searching for an escape, but there was none. Rae's grip was unyielding, her stance firm, her gaze unwavering. The predator had become the prey. For Ariana, who watched from heaven, Rae unleashed a torrent of pent-up fury. Her fist connected with Zane's jaw in a sickening thud, snapping his head to the side. He grunted, a choked sound of pain, but before he could recover, Rae delivered another swift punch. Then, without a moment's hesitation, she pulled a taser from her belt. The sharp crackle of electricity filled the air as she pressed it against his side, once, twice, a third time. Zane's body seized, his muscles convulsing uncontrollably as he slumped against the wall, a broken heap. Just then, as if on cue, the distant wail of sirens pierced the tense silence. The sound, faint at first, grew louder with each passing second, a symphony of approaching justice. Moments later, the heavy studio doors burst open, and two uniformed police officers, their faces grim, guns drawn, stormed into the room. They moved with practiced efficiency, their eyes scanning the scene, quickly assessing the situation. Zane, his face a mask of defeat and despair, offered no resistance as they apprehended him, snapping handcuffs around his wrists with a decisive click. Rae had called them on her way to the studio, a premonition, a gut feeling that something was about to go horribly wrong. It was a precaution that had proven not just wise but life-saving. The immediate danger was over. Zane was in custody, but the emotional fallout lingered, a heavy, suffocating blanket. The relief was palpable, yet it was intertwined with a lingering sense of shock, a disbelief that this nightmare had actually happened. Damar, his breath still ragged, turned to Jackie, his eyes filled with a mixture of love, relief, and the lingering fear that still clung to him like a shadow. "Jackie," he began, his voice trembling slightly, the words catching in his throat. "I almost lost you. The thought of it, it's unbearable. I can't imagine my life without you." He paused, taking a shaky breath. "In the past, we haven't given our true bond the respect and nurturing it deserved by keeping things strictly casual, sex and friendship. But that bond turned to love a long time ago, even if we both tried to ignore it." He then dropped to one knee, the movement both graceful and urgent, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. He flipped it open, revealing a sparkling diamond ring, its brilliance mirroring the tears that now streamed down Jackie's face. "Will you marry me, Jackie?" he asked, his voice thick with emotion. Tears streamed down Jackie's face, a mixture of relief, joy, and the lingering trauma of the near-death experience. She nodded, unable to speak, her emotions overwhelming her. "Yes, Damar," she finally managed to whisper, her voice choked with emotion. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." As the police finished taking their report, the clicking of cameras and the hushed whispers of the studio staff filling the void left by the sirens, Jackie and Damar turned to Rae and Aaliyah, their faces etched with profound gratitude. "Thank you," Jackie said, her voice still trembling, thick with unshed tears. You saved our lives. We owe you everything. We couldn't have done it without you both, Damar added, his voice sincere, his grip firm as he shook Rae's hand. He looked at Aaliyah, offering a grateful nod. A new chapter for Rae and my love for football. But wait, there's one more thing. As Rae is closing up the studio, her phone rings. It's Marcus Vance, the superstar wide receiver for the Raiders. He's heard Rae's the best and needs her help. He's getting serious death threats and needs her other set of skills to keep him safe and out of the tabloids. Rae, ever the thrill seeker, is intrigued. This is a whole new level of high-profile danger and glamour. And speaking of football, y'all know Miss Jones loves her football and these fine athletic players. There's just something about that grit, that determination that, well, you know. So this new case for Rae is already off to a promising start. And that, my truth tellers, is the end of Chapter 6 and the end of Book 1. And for now. Yes, you heard me right. This explosive ride is just beginning. Get ready to immerse yourself in the electrifying world of Rae Leon style and suspicion. This fall, dive into a new adventure for Rae with Volume 2. The mystery unravels, the stakes are higher, and the betrayals run deeper on the football field. And mark your calendars this winter for November. The Rae Leon Style and Suspicion YouTube series trailer drops, bringing the music, the mystery, and the deadly price of fame to life. Finally, the first and second books will be converted to live episodes and will drop in 2026. So my darlings, be patient. The next chapter of drama and intrigue is just around the corner. Ciao.
Rae Leon style and suspicion.